According to Jeppson's 2006 Instrument and Commercial Flight Guide, early airplanes were not equipped with the proper instruments and navigation equipment to allow pilots to fly safely in clouds or low visibility conditions. Of the first 40 airmen hired to fly the Mail, 31 were killed in airplane crashes. A record of this nature was not likely to aid in the development of a reliable, safe air transportation system. As a result, numerous efforts were made to improve the ability of airmail pilots to reach their destinations day or night during a wide variety of weather conditions. As a student of professional flight at Purdue, I am learning about flying in these various weather conditions on a daily basis. Anytime that any of you step onto a commercial airline flight, you are the benefactors of many efforts to make commercial flight safe and reliable. One of the primary contributors to our current system of aviation was General James Harold Jimmy Doolittle. James Doolittle changed the face of aviation through his experiments and development of flight instruments, and his contributions led to the reality of modern commercial aviation. To start, let me tell you about Jimmy Doolittle, the aviator and student. James Doolittle was a pilot, war hero, and received a PhD in aeronautical engineering. Jimmy Doolittle became a pilot after enlisting in the Army in 1917, and he served in World War I. Shortly after World War I, he was discharged from the service. During World War II, he re-entered active duty, and he was a war hero during World War II. As described in Gale's Encyclopedia of World Biography, dated December 12, 1998, Doolittle led an attack on Tokyo at age 45, following the Japanese attack at Pearl Harbor. Doolittle received the Medal of Honor for his actions over Tokyo. These details are described by Air Force print news writer Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Clutter in his April 2007 article, Jimmy Doolittle, Famed Air Power Pioneer. In 1923, Jimmy Doolittle enrolled at MIT and obtained a PhD in aeronautical engineering. According to the U.S. Centennial Flights Commission website, date unknown, when he received his degrees in 1925, fewer than 100 people in the world held comparable advanced degrees. In his doctoral dissertation, he combined laboratory data with test flight data to determine that a pilot needed visual aids or instruments to know the direction and speed of the wind and the direction in which the aircraft was flying. Now that you know about Jimmy Doolittle's background, let me tell you about his work that led to instrument flight. James Doolittle completed the first flight with sole reference to instruments. In 1928, the Daniel Guggenheim Fund for the Promotion of Aeronautics installed a full flight laboratory at Mitchell Field in Long Island. Doolittle was assigned to the program and given the task of solving the problems inherent by flying solely with instrument reference. Doolittle enlisted the help of Elmer Sperry, founder of the Sperry Gyroscope Company. Sperry and Doolittle developed the Artificial Horizon instrument, which provided a pictorial example of the pilot's relation to the ground, and they also developed the Directional Gyro, which tells the pilot a more accurate compass heading. With help from Paul Colesman, Doolittle developed an altimeter that was accurate to within a few feet, which would make blind landings possible. On September 24, 1929, Jimmy Doolittle completed the first flight solely by instrument reference. After a blind takeoff, the flight lasted 15 minutes and included two 180-degree turns. Doolittle navigated back to the airport, set up for the approach, and successfully made a blind landing. He attracted wide newspaper attention with the blind flying feat and later received the Harmon Trophy for his experiments that made all-weather airline operations possible. Now that you know about Doolittle's contributions to the development of instrument flight, let's examine his impact on commercial aviation. Without instrument flight, modern commercial air travel would not be possible or practical. All commercial flights are flown under what is known as IFR, or Instrument Flight Rules. IFR allows for aircraft to take off, fly to their destination, and safely land in most types of weather conditions. Air traffic control oversees aircraft on instrument flight in order to ensure proper spacing of aircraft from each other. The alternative to IFR is VFR, or Visual Flight Rules. VFR flights must be accomplished with the pilot having visual reference to the ground during the entire flight. Commercial flight under VFR rules would be unpredictable and impractical. Flights could only be accomplished on fair weather days, and passengers would have to wait for bad weather to clear, or even return to the airport at a later time or a later date in order to fly in VFR weather. In closing, I have shared with you about Jimmy Doolittle, the pilot and war hero, who made lasting contributions to aviation and to everyone who enjoys the convenience of modern commercial flight. As you can see, Jimmy Doolittle's contributions to instrument flight forever changed the face of aviation in a way that affects the world on a daily basis. Gale Biography's Contemporary Heroes and Heroines article on Jimmy Doolittle tells us that Doolittle's contributions were recognized and honored by President Ronald Reagan. In Reagan's farewell address to the American people, he said, "We've got to teach history based not on what's in fashion, but what's important. Why the Pilgrims came here, who Jimmy Doolittle was, and what those 30 seconds over Tokyo meant. I hope all of you will remember Jimmy Doolittle the next time you enjoy the convenience of commercial flight."